I've been keeping an aquarium most of my life. Used to have goldfish when I was a kid, and I've always just been fascinated with the whole idea of underwater sort of environment and the swimming fish. And I've had a lot of different aquariums. I've had some really cool ones, and over time, I've not always been the best caretaker. As you can see here, there's a lot of algae growing into this tank right now. It's not super nice, but this is probably the best I've fish tank I've ever had as far as like just the overall, you know, waterscape. I guess is just is and it's not great. I'm not saying that I'm fantastic or anything at this, but I'm just really enjoying this particular aquarium that I've gotten set up right now. So it's a 40-gallon, nothing very large. I actually had a 60-gallon tank when we moved to Benton from Harrisburg, and I had a very large Plecostomus. I'd had him for a long, long time. The only fish I had. The Plecostomus was something that I kind of wasn't really sad. I mean, I was very sad when he died, but in a way I was also kind of like relieved in a way because I'd had that fish for like 15 years and he was getting pretty much, well, I don't know if I'd had him for a long time, and it was time for him to move on. And because with you having a Plecostomus, a big Plecostomus like that, I really couldn't keep anything else, and I couldn't keep like plants or anything because anything you put in a tank, he just like bowl over and annihilate it. So I ended up setting up a tank to replace it, but then that 60 started leaking, and I ended up replacing it with this 40-gallon tank because I wanted to downsize anyway. And for a time, I was like, well, do I even really want to mess with fish? But I got some guppies, and these guppies have been doing really well. I've lost a couple of them over the last year and a half that I've been in Benton, but for the most part, they've been doing really, really well. And I have quite a few new guppies in here because they love to breed. So I got that one zebra danio. It's like a long fin danio. And I have somewhere in here, we'll spot them in a second. There's one right there. They're called headlight, tail light tetras. And I bought them just because they were like 99 cents at a pet store at D's Pets. So really digging them. I had 5. I think I have 4 still. So one of those perished. But they're really cool fish. They got a neat little spot on their eye and a little spot on their back. And yeah, so I've got some other things going on here. You can't always see them. I've got a octo catfish over here on the wall, but I don't think, yeah, there he is right there. Zoom in a little bit, we can find that guy. There's the octo catfish. He's new. Just got him yesterday, actually. Trying to find more stuff to clean the tank. The autofocus is really digging what's in front of it, and not what's behind it. Lots of plants. Some of these plants have been in here for a long time, pretty much a year and a half. The Java ferns, I think, are not Java. I don't know what they are. I'm not really good. Java fern, maybe Java sword. I got some swords, and I got some different plants, but this long grassy stuff is fairly new. I've only had it for a couple weeks, but I'm really liking it. So I've been toning down the lights, trying to cut back on algae growth. Poor old female guppies just drove crazy, constantly being bothered. I've been getting into shrimp. I have a whole nother shrimp aquarium set up right now, but I wanted to get shrimp and see if they can start kind of cleaning this thing up. There's about 8 shrimp in here right now, but you almost never see them. Every now and again, I think they're all dead, and then I start looking around and I start finding them. But they so many places for them to hide that they tend to just get really good and hidden. And if I start moving plants around or looking around, I'll find them, I think. But they're in there. Lots and lots of snails, which I guess are nuisance type snails. A lot of people don't like, but they don't really bother me. I don't think they're hurting anything. They just kind of walk. I think they kind of clean a little bit. They're not horrible. But believe it or not, I've been doing a lot of cleaning on this tank. I've sucked out a lot of gunk, and I still got a lot of gunk to suck out. Been doing a lot of water changes. It's still got way too high nitrates. But also I have, which I don't know if I can show you here, but up in that filter, there you can start to see it there. I have a great big pothos plant. I think what they sometimes call impatient plant, but big pothos plant growing out of the filter, and I've got another filter, um, canister filter, which I got at Goodwill of all places. That was a great deal. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a fun little hobby. It doesn't really. I tend to like get into it for like a few months, and I'm like thinking a lot about it. And then when I'm not really into it, the fish are fine. I feed them. I think I've been feeding them too much. I've really cut down on their feeding. I've been trying to give them just a little bit every day, and I think these guppies will like eat some algae. If they're hungry enough, they'll quit eating. Uh, if you quit feeding them so much flake food, they'll start eating algae and stuff. There should be plenty in here for them to eat. But I try to feed them a little bit, change the water a little bit. But I might go months without really, doing a lot of anything, other than just trying to come down and make sure everybody's still alive and fed. And then I get really into it sometimes and really go like all into, getting new stuff or taking care of what I have. There's a snail, but I was wanting to find a shrimp. I've got a blue one, and I was sure it was gone. I hadn't seen it in days, and all of a sudden I saw this blue shrimp just walking around in there, and like, hey, he's still alive. But I think the shrimp are all still there. I haven't found any dead shrimp, but who knows? Got a hill stream. I think it's called a hill stream loach. Very cool fish. You just don't see. There he is. Yeah, well, he just come out of hiding. He hides behind this pipe all the time. You never see him. Every now and again, you'll see him pop out from behind that pipe. And he's a really cool fish. Real flat looking. It looks like some kind of catfish type thing. Very interesting looking fish, but he is in hiding right now. Every now and again, he pops out. Maybe I'll find a shrimp one day. I should have plenty of guppies. Eventually, I'll need to, like, hopefully someday soon, harvest a bunch of guppies and maybe trade them in at the pet shop for shrimp or something. He's still hiding. See you later, guys.